So this story starts with an ultimate car hero, Lee Iacocca. Lee Iacocca, if you don't know, was a monster. He worked for Ford and then for Chrysler and has changed the car market forever. Anyway, he and his buddy Donald Frey, who helped design the Mustang, bring it to market, came up with an idea for a new rig, the Ford Bronco. You see, during World War II, Jeeps were made by lots of companies, including Ford. And Ford looked at the market segment and said, there's nothing to really, compete with the Jeep right now. So let's build something that's cool, that's versatile, and can go off-road and do lots of things. They actually call it an MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle. So this is the 66 diamond blue Bronco. This is actually my 79 Ford Bronco 427 with 38-inch tires. It was super duper cool, and I loved everything about it. And I sold it. My wife hates me, and I bought her this instead. But let's go back to the Jeep, because this is really what I want to talk about for a minute. I own the Lexus in question. Everywhere else in the world is called a Prada. It's a GX 460. That's my car. And, Donut Media claims it's the best off-roader in the world, and I think it's pretty dang good. And so I wanted to talk about the Land Cruiser for just a little bit. The Land Cruiser came around in 1955. It was essentially a military vehicle that morphed into a personal use vehicle. But all my young boy life, my dad had the 200 series, the 100 series, the 90 series with the straight sixes, and I loved them. And so I'm a weirdo, and so I drive one too, and I think it's a great off-road vehicle. But I want to go back to this idea of what a great off-road vehicle is in Australia and all over the world. They love it. And here at the Pressman Auto, we like Toyota off-roaders, like those tons of foreigners. But again, back to my wife's Jeep and the whole concept of what the Bronco is and why the Bronco is. So when the Bronco came out, there was not much else besides the Jeep Willys. It was hard to ride. The Bronco was much better. Then it had a bunch of competition with the Blazer and the Jimmy, which I saw all of my young boy life. The Blazer was cool. And then the Dodge, the Ram wagon. But you go back to that 66 DNA and it's super cool. And you see it became very easy to modify. And these early Gen 1 models are ridiculously expensive and also ridiculously cool. My cousin and I had the matching, 70s big bodies, but they were kind of silly. Then it went into the 80s. You see I'm throwing it up again just for nostalgia's sake. Into the 80s Broncos. And then finally, someone killed his wife and a waiter and essentially put a knife in the Bronco too. And in fact, you can rent this Bronco if you really so desire. So I want to talk about this Bronco now, the first edition. So we got back to basics. It's a 6-cylinder turbocharged Ford Bronco with awesome features, skid pads, locking diffs, 35-inch tires, lots of off-road capability, and super good looking. Every time I drive one of these, it gets a lot of looks. I think I've done a video on the Bronco before, and it's just been, it's an amazing rig. Now, do I think it's as cool as the 78, 79 big body? No, because I'm a weirdo, and that's why I drive the Prada, the GX. But I think, is it the best off-road vehicle in the world? I don't know. The Bronco's really pushing hard right now in the market segment. When you look at what you get dollar for dollar, it competes directly with the Rubicon Unlimited, which is what I have and my wife has. And I think it is a little better than the Lexus. I think Lexus is a little more refined in lots of ways, but I like the aesthetics of the Bronco. I like the look, the feel, the overarching style and the design of the Bronco. I think it really speaks to today's audience and has a level of capability that is kind of next level. And when I was in Moab recently, I saw the Raptor edition, and it was crazy cool. So I can understand why people are paying top dollars for these things. Do I think it's as good as a Toyota Land Cruiser? Probably not, but you can take the top off, you get 1,000,000 feet of headroom, and you get a cool design that has a pedigree that's through Donald Frey and Lee Iacocca and the rest, that allows you to really feel the purpose and the nature of this car and how it brought a market segment to life and change the world as we know it, as far as the way that sport utes are used across the world. And I feel like it's going to have some longevity. I love the styling. I love the fact that it comes in the two-door and the four-door segment, and I love the engine capability. I've driven this one several times, and I've loved every second of it. If it wasn't so dang expensive, maybe I'll have one in the future. We'll see. But as for me in my house, I think it is one of the better, and it really does compete with that Lexus.